Evening and welcome to the regular council meeting of June 25th, 2024 for the Corporation of the Town of Cobalt. I'd like to call the meeting to order. Is there any disclosure of pecuniary interest and the general nature thereof? Public meetings are none, and deputations, we have none. So, adoption of the meeting agenda. Draft motion. Be it resolved that council approve the agenda of the regular meeting dated June 25th, 2024 as presented. I have a mover and a seconder. Councillor Hughes. Is it Councillor Starchuk?
Yeah, sure.
All in favor? Carried. Adoption of previous minutes. Draft motion, be it resolved that council approve the following minutes as presented, regular council meeting of May 28th, 2024. Mover and seconder? Okay. Councillor Hughes and Councillor Cooper? All in favor? Carried. On to the staff reports. First one is Public Works Department for June 2024. Any clarifications needed? By law enforcement, May 2024. Any clarification? Cobalt Public Library minutes, April 27th, 2024. Any clarifications? Staff report 2024-06-2501, the 2024 projects update. Is there any clarifications on those? I've got the assimilated capacity study target for July 31st. Fire Museum, waiting for a quotation again. The F550 has arrived. Yay. Community placement grant application. Sunshade, we got a sunshade and it's going to be installed by, I think, for July 1st. And our summer student is Tyron Williamson. So, and we're still negotiating for the fire truck. Yes.
I just wanted to ask a question. The sunshade, where is it going to be placed?
From what I heard discussed a week or so ago, it may be strung up over in the park here, like for July 1st, for extra, and then it will go over across the lake in the park permanently.
Oh, I see.
To make a bigger area, you know, we do have one small area to get out of the sun, but not that much.
Okay. Thank you.
And I know there's discussions of going on for what kind of trees to plant in there. Shade trees. Staff report, the insurance renewal. Anything you'd like to say on that? Nope. Expensive. Next, there's 16% over the last term. Higher than what we had budgeted for, but it's like all those other charges, there's not a thing you can do about it. Staff report 2024-06-2503, resolution of support for the asset retirement obligations. Anything on that?
Can I just
Yes.
ask, what is this asset retirement obligations? What is it exactly?
Would you like to explain it?
It's a new accounting standard that has to be, that we have to do. So right now our financials are in a draft format until we finish the ARO, which is the new thing that we have to do for our assets. It's a new thing that we're gonna have to do annually now.
Oh, okay.
It's not a one-time thing, it's an annual thing.
Mm-hmm.
So we're just looking at funding options because it's pretty expensive.
I guess my understanding is that larger municipalities that have staff, it can be done in-house. But we're a small municipality, we don't have an engineer or a planner. It sounds like we don't have
Okay.
the staff, so it costs us extra.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Mhm. And from what I understand, it's also practically a duplication of that other asset management
It is.
thing.
We
Yeah.
have our asset management plan. It's pretty much a duplication of that, but a different format.
Mhm.
Okay.
And that's partly what's holding up funding for the fire truck.
Oh, right.
This thing has to be done by a certain date, this year for sure, earlier, I think, and then that finalizes our,
FIR.
the FIR, and then there'll be consideration for the loan.
Cassie, do you know if it has to be done by someone with a certain certification, like an accounting certification?
I do believe it does, but I'm not entirely certain on that one.
And I remember at the last municipal association meeting that I was at, there was a lot of discussion on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, the majority of the municipalities around here do not have, except for Temiskaming Shores, do not have the staff to be able to do it with the qualifications to do it and everything else. So we're all in the same boat. So.
I don't even know if the city of Temiskaming Shores has staff as well. I don't know if they have engineers and staff to do it. I think they were on the list of municipalities that were looking for,
Are looking for funding too. So.
well, looking for companies to do this. I think we're looking at 360, if I'm not
Mhm.
mistaken. And I think they were on that list as well.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah, in the hopes that we were hoping, I think discussing at that point, if there was a possibility of all grouping together and getting one company. I haven't heard anything. I haven't been to any of the other meetings since then, so I haven't heard more. Okay, on to staff report 2024-06-25-04, and this is the bylaw 2024-23 workplace violence and harassment policy. Can you
Sure.
tell us what the upgrades are going to be in it?
So our current bylaw 2010-21, doesn't address certain things that the new Ontario Occupational Health and Safety Act requires us to cover. So Wishart and EFRAM have prepared this bylaw, which would now bring us up to code regulation. We would be in compliance.
Okay.
So it does cover a couple new things, mostly new types of discrimination, harassment, including domestic violence, whereas we didn't have all that before.
And in your package is the bylaw from 2010 that will be repealed. And staff report 2024-06-25-05, that's bylaw 2024-24, gas tax funding agreement.
This is just more of an administrative thing. Every 10 years, we sign an agreement with the Associations of Municipalities of Ontario. It's just to get our gas tax funding for the next 10 years. So it's just an administrative bylaw.
Okay, so draft motion. Be it resolved that council accept the staff reports as presented. Mover. Councillor Hughes and Councillor Starchuk. All in favor? Carried. Okay. Now we get into the ones that need to vote. Number 8, items for council consideration. Whereas council, or 8.1 2024 insurance renewal. Whereas council received staff report 2024-06-25-02 outlining the 2024-25 municipal insurance coverage provided by MIS Municipal Insurance Services with an annual premium of $124,643, an overall premium increase of 16% over the expiring term. Now therefore be it resolved that council directs staff to enter into an agreement with MIS for insurance services on behalf of the town, and further that council directs the staff to decline the optional cybersecurity insurance coverage. And I have a mover and a seconder. Councillor Hughes, Councillor Wilcox. And any discussion? Councillor Hughes.
What is the optional cyber? Do we have a total for that we're gonna save? Is that in the 124 or is that gonna be on top of it?
That's on top of that, and it's, we decline it per year. I believe we're covered,
And
through Northern
if anyone has a calculator, what's 16% of that 124 off the top? You know what it
I
is?
can get it to you tomorrow.
Mhm.
I can do it later.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just didn't want to pull up my calculator and start punching. it.
No,
I know in your staff report, it said that the, our coverage for cybersecurity is through which is it? Northern Tel, that looks after all of our security for that, for the computers. Thankfully, we don't need to buy the extra coverage because I imagine that would be getting pretty expensive. Okay, so,
And just another one about the
oh,
insurance.
yep,
That's about, just did a quick one in my head. That's around 20 grand it went up this year. Is it been kind of going 20 grand each year or is this
I
a big
believe
year?
last year was 38.
Really?
Mhm.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, so we did budget for a 13% increase, so it's just slightly more.
mhm,
That's a big bump.
yeah. I think part of that's gonna be the theater.
Not too sure.
Okay.
Okay, all in favor? Carried. Now, 8.2, Township of Harley, Coleman Township, Township of Larder Lake, Township of Casey, Township of Hudson, and Township of Kearns. Letter of support for asset retirement obligations. Whereas the Public Sector Accounting Board, PSAB, establishes accounting standards for the public sector which must be followed by all Ontario municipalities, and whereas the Municipal Act 2001, Section 294.1, states that a municipality shall, for each fiscal year, prepare annual financial statements for the municipality in accordance with generally accepted accounting principles for local governments as recommended from time to time by the Public Sector Accounting Board of the Chartered Professional Accountants of Canada. And whereas PS 3280 is a new accounting standard covering asset retirement obligations, AROs are called now, that was approved by PSAB in March 2018. And whereas the standard must be applied by all public sector entities who prepare their financial statements under PSAB, including all Canadian municipalities, and whereas many small municipalities do not have accountants or engineers on staff to complete the ARO obligations, and this major accounting changes will force small municipalities to hire consultants to complete this work and cause a significant financial burden to municipalities. Now therefore be it resolved that the Council of the Corporation of the Town of Cobalt supports the resolutions from the Township of Harley, Coleman Township, Township of Larder Lake, Township of Casey, Township of Hudson, and Township of Kearns, and hereby calls upon the Province of Ontario to provide financial assistance to municipalities to complete the ARO. And further, that a copy of this resolution be forwarded to the Honorable Paul Calandra, Minister of Municipal Affairs and Housing, the Association of Municipal Clerks and Treasurers of Ontario, AMCTO, the Timiskaming Municipal Association, TMA, the Federation of Northern Municipalities, FNOM, and all municipalities within the district of Timiskaming. And I have a mover and seconder. Councillor Wilcox, Councillor Starchuk. Any discussions? Okay. All in favor? Carried. So items for council consideration, council information. There we go. Excuse me. Okay, first is the Cobalt Historical Society. And I think all of us have seen the invitation for the dedication of the John Calder Memorial Trail on Saturday, June 29th, 2024 at 10 a.m. And I'm sure they would be happy. Any and all of the public that are interested in our historical trails or for going for a hike that day. After a short ceremony, be invited to hike the trail if you wish. And the new trail was made possible by a donation from the family of Cobalt John Calder, who always visited Cobalt many, many times a year during his lifetime. So with the permission of Agnico Eagle, the Cobalt Historical Society reclaimed the switchback road that runs up and behind the McKinley-Darragh mine on Coleman Road and at the south end of Cobalt Lake. The 0.6 kilometer trail begins at Site 4 of the Heritage Silver Trail, which is where the opening will be held, and ends on Coleman Road next to the base of Site 3, the McKinley-Darragh Mill Ruins. And visitors can reverse their trek or walk along the road to return to the trailhead. And they welcome walkers, runners, and cyclists, but have elected barricades to discourage motorized vehicles on it. So I hope you'll all be able to be there. And when they were doing this, they found out that this was one of the original road that went out that way. And Coleman Road was established much later on as an easier route. But this is following one of the old original roads, so it's very exciting. And Canada Day celebration coming up. I would like to thank Angie Larrabee from over in the post office. She jumped in this year, as I was hoping she would, one year, and has got together the businesses, the other clubs, and put together a really good Canada Day celebration like we used to have before COVID. So we're finally getting back into gear on that. So it starts at 9 with the mayor's breakfast, and I hope you'll all be there. Mayors of course, Cobalt, Latchford, and Coleman will be there to help serve breakfast, and that's free breakfast. At 12 is the parade. The lineup is at 11:30 for the kids out at Damiani's, and for any of the floats and vehicles to meet at the snow dump. And I'd like to really encourage all the kids to dress up in their Canada Day finest and come out and join us in the parade, because it always was, before COVID, a kiddies parade where the kids all walked in the parade and showed off. So we're trying to build that up again. We've got lots of new kids in town we didn't have over the last few years. At 1 o'clock, over at the fire department is barbecue, and there'll be music in the park as well from the Cobalt Jammers. And there's family fun activities as well. Cotton candy, ice cream, a few other vendors there. So it's really building up to be finally a real Canada Day again. So, and I really think Angie's taking over. She's done a terrific job. So, be it resolved that council accept the items for council information as presented. Councillor Starcheck? Oh, yeah,
Could you that?
no, Councillor Hunter, we haven't got you on there yet. Okay. And any other discussions? Okay, all in favor? Carried. On to bylaw number 10, bylaws and agreements. Bylaw 2024-23, workplace violence and harassment policy, from staff report 2024-06-2504. Whereas municipalities must comply with the Occupational Health and Safety Act, RSO 1990, as amended, and more specifically Section 32, which requires employers to adopt a policy and establish a program with respect to workplace violence and harassment. And whereas Section 25(2) of the Occupational Health and Safety Act requires that an employer takes every precaution reasonable in the circumstances for the protection of the worker. And whereas Section 217.1 of the Criminal Code of Canada states that everyone who undertakes or has the authority to direct how another person does work or performs a task is under a legal duty to take reasonable steps to prevent harm to that person or any other person arising from that work or task. And whereas Council received Staff Report 2024-06-2504, recommending the adoption of Bylaw 2024-23, being a bylaw to adopt a workplace violence and harassment policy program. Now therefore be it resolved that Bylaw 2024-23, being a bylaw to adapt a workplace violent and harassment policy and program, be taken as read a first and second time this 25th day of June 24. Okay, Councillor Starchuk and another mover? Councillor Cooper? And any discussion on this? Or should I start by saying we're only doing first and second move on this tonight so that everyone's going to have another month to read through it carefully. This is a very important document for us and for all of our workers. So take a very careful read through there. If you've got any discussions you'd like to make tonight, or if you have any concerns with what's in there, want anything clarified, then please bring it up to management and get clarifications before the next vote. Is there any other discussion right now? Or I snowball you with pages and pages. Okay, and can we take the vote? Oh, sorry.
I'm just wondering, we workplace violence and harassment policy is what we're looking at. Section 2.2, reporting policy violations. I would really like to see information from other municipalities on how they deal with investigating and settling harassment or workplace violence complaints.
Okay.
I'm a little uneasy, incorporating a law firm into a bylaw. That makes me uneasy.
Okay, point taken. We can pass that on and you can get your answer back from staff through the next month.
Yes.
Check with them.
And part of it is because some of these things, when they get out of control, can become very expensive for us. And I would like to see if we can have better internal methods of dealing with these kinds of complaints.
I'll have to read through those 2.1 and 2.2 again
Yeah.
to double check it.
Me too. I've read them a couple of times and I'm still confused. I would really like some information.
Okay. So, any others, or can we take the vote now for first and second reading? Okay. And how do you vote? All in favor?
Yep.
Okay, carried.
Would you call out for not for opposed?
Would you wait till would you like to wait? Yeah, I could ask for opposed, sorry about that, or you could wait for your opposition or after you've had the discussions with making possible changes. You see where I'm going?
I do, but no, I'm uncomfortable voting for that in any way, shape, or form.
Okay,
I'm
so one opposed. Okay, sorry about that.
Are we doing a recorded vote, or is that just?
Just one and four.
Excuse me?
Yep.
This wasn't a final vote, though, was it?
No, we've got the next month to read it through in detail. Bring any questions to staff. If there's any things that you're not sure about the way it reads or whatever, then bring it in, bring it to staff. And so we've got, yeah.
Final it's an interpretation of the procedure, but I don't agree with it.
Probably a million of those damn pages everywhere, right? Most places I've worked at.
Yeah.
I think you get the information first, then you vote.
Yeah.
Yep. I see your point on that. Okay, so on to 10.2 bylaw 2024-24 gas tax funding agreement from staff report 2024-06-2505. Draft motion, whereas council, the town of Cobalt deems it desirable to enter into a funding agreement with the Association of Municipalities of Ontario, AMO, for the transfer of federal gas tax revenues under the Canada-Ontario AMO Toronto Agreement. And whereas council received staff report 2024-06-2505 recommending the adoption of bylaw 2024-24, being a bylaw to enter into an agreement with AMO for the transfer of federal gas tax funds. Now therefore be it resolved that bylaw 2024-24, being a bylaw to authorize the execution of a municipal funding agreement for the transfer of federal gas tax funds, be taken as read a first, second, and third time and passed on this 25th day of June 2024. The mover and seconder? Councillor Cooper, Councillor Hughes. Any discussion? It's all pretty standard. Happens every 10 years. Yes, Councillor Hughes.
No, I'm ready for the vote on
Oh,
it.
you're ready for the vote. Okay, all in favor. Thank you, carried.
I'm just warming up my arm.
Okay. So, new business, schedule of accounts. Draft motion, be it resolved that council receive the following schedules as presented. Schedule 2024-10 in the amount of $180,701.31, and Schedule 2024-11 in the amount of $142,848.95. And move by, and I'd like a move in second. Okay, Councillor Hunter and Councillor Hughes. And any discussion, anything you want clarified on it?
Well, if we vote no, can we get our money back?
I think the bill would just come a month later with more interest added on it, yes. Okay, we ready for the vote then? All in favor? Okay, carried, thank you. And mayor's report, none. We'll get her report on the meeting next time. And there are no closed meeting, no business arising from a closed meeting, so on to the confirmation bylaw. Draft bylaw, be it resolved that bylaw number 2024-25, being a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of council of the corporation of the town of Cobalt, be taken as read a first, second, and third time this 25th day of June 2024. And further, that the said bylaw be signed and sealed by the mayor and clerk. The move by, seconded. Councillor Cooper. Councillor Stark. All in favor? Carried. And adjournment. Be it resolved that the regular meeting of council be adjourned at 6:56. Oh, 7 p.m. on the there. Yes, we trust watch over that clock. Mover? Certainly, Councillor Wilcox. Seconded, Councillor Hughes. All in favor? Carried. Thank you very much.